Walmart since they implemented the policy. What?
I got a story to tell you. Completely interrupt. So I'm going to try to do this where...
This is the beauty of live shows, right? We can
I
just do
know.
whatever the fuck we want to do.
So I want to give this little brief. This happened last weekend. Yes, last weekend. So I had to make a withdrawal. Okay, so a certain bank that I bank with closed a lot of their local branches. Now hear me out. This was crazy because a lot of people didn't know what to do with the situation. So a local bank that I bank with has closed all their branches. Now you have to go to a particular grocery store to bank with that bank that I bank with. That was a bit of a...
That was a word salad if I ever heard one. I follow you, though.
So, okay.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ever since these big corporate stores have decided that it's mandatory
folks that are having trouble keeping up, he used bank as a noun and a verb. Okay? That's the secret to keeping up with Anthony.
That's right.
Go ahead.
So, Jesus Christ. So, anyways, now this bank is in this local grocery store.
Yeah.
Okay. So, last weekend, I go to make a withdrawal, and I decided not to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. Because my thought was, well, I'm not actually grocery shopping. I'm just going in to do my bank, my banking, and that was it. So, I didn't feel like I really needed my mask on.
Right.
So I get there and I walk in and I'm standing in line. There's a lady in front of me and I'm filling out my withdrawal slip. Okay, and as I'm filling it out, I had somebody, a part of management, come over from this local grocery store and said, "Sir, it's required for you to wear a mask in our building." And I said, "Well, I understand that, but I'm not using, I'm not shopping. I'm not here to shop in your store. I'm here to bank. There's a difference. I'm using a bank service, not your grocery service." Okay. So I guess the manager really didn't know what to do with this situation because
they don't really own the bank. That space is leased out and rented to the bank.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of a separate entity at that point.
I'm continuing just filling out my withdrawal slip, and next thing I know, it's somebody else from management comes over, and they're like, "Sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave to come back with a face mask on for you to finish, your banking." And I said, "I'm not going to."
Sorry to interrupt. I'm sure you said this and I just missed it, but is this like an ATM thing, or is this like actual people are in this branch?
No, there's people in this branch.
So you're actually banking with people filling out. Okay.
The thing is, I don't have a PIN number for my debit card. Never have.
Right.
Because you always hear the horror stories of going to an ATM, getting robbed. Well, no. You can't use my debit card at an ATM. Never have, never will. So I actually have to physically go to a bank. Almost slipped out. And make a withdrawal that way, right?
Yeah.
So then a third person walks over, and they're discussing how they're going to handle the situation. Now, I'm just standing in line minding my business, letting them over here figure out what the hell they want to do because they don't know what to do. And so the lady comes back over to me and she was like, "Sorry, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to, you're trying to bank and so forth, but it is required for you to be in our store to wear a mask." I said, "Look," I said, "because of the certain bank, they have closed their main branches. They're not offering drive-through services, and then they went into the whole, well, why don't you, use an ATM? And I explained that to them. And I said, "Look, you're not keeping me for my money. I don't give a shit what your regulations are as far as wearing a face mask goes. I am not bothering, your shoppers. They're not bothering me. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting anywhere near them or you."
And the face masks are technically recommended by the CDC where 6 foot of personal space or whatever is not possible.
Right. And in this case, it's possible to be, so many feet apart.
Right.
So this wasn't an issue. And I said, "Look," I said, I've been placed in a situation where I now have to come into your store to bank with this local branch. Mm-hmm. And I didn't ask to do this. You guys have forced me in this position, okay? Therefore, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. I shouldn't even have to apologize.
Yeah. And you don't have to lie.
I'm using a banking
you shouldn't
service.
have to lie and say you have a medical condition. So
no, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna do that. I was straight up with them.
Yeah.
And again, they kind of huddled together and wasn't sure what to do here, because this is kind of like a loophole.
By then, you could have had your banking done and been on out about your business.
And I told them, I said, "You guys are more welcome to hang out right here until I get done and watch me leave the building." Now, if I was going in to actually grocery shop, then yes, I would wear a mask, but that's not the case.
Because that's what you guys are requesting.
Right. So
that's how I feel. If they're requesting it and I'm required to wear it, I'll wear it. But I also making a choice not to shop at places that require them. So
if you're going to force me in a position to do something that I don't want to do when I'm not using your services, but someone else's, and they're leasing that piece of that building out in order for me to bank, I'm going off of the protocol with the banks. Now, if I actually have to go into an actual branch and it requires me to wear a mask, I will go through the drive-through if open. But that's not the case. Yeah. And I've been to several branches and I've called them. They're not open. Now, there is one local branch here in town where you can actually call to make an appointment to bank with them. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I have no problem doing that, but you also have to wear a face mask. And it's not that I'm anti-face mask, because that's not the issue here. The issue here is that you're not going to keep me from doing my daily life, my banking, my grocery shopping, whatever it is that I have to do. I have no problem complying with the fact that if you're requiring your customers and the general public to wear face masks in order to shop, I'm good with that. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's your choice.
But I'm banking. Yeah. And that's what I kept trying to explain to them. It's like they couldn't get it through their head. And so this turned into a situation to where, the next thing I know there's 4 people standing, quite a bit of ways from me, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And at this point, because everybody was arguing with me, and I'm standing at the counter talking to a teller, the next thing I know 5 minutes later, I've got my money and I'm leaving. Mm. And it's like, what's the deal here? All this commotion, drawing attention to this whole situation was not necessary. If it was just one of you that came over and talked to me and explained to me what was going on, and I'm telling you what I'm doing, that's fine. But now you got 4 people over here trying to figure out what to do. Nobody knows what to do. What are you going to do, call the cops? I'm going to tell the cops the same damn thing. You're not going to keep me from my money. You're not.
And it's actually nice that we do have that ability. And you're kind of lucky you live in the United States. I'm going to tell you straight up, because I was seeing a video that somebody posted, one of my Australian friends posted, showing in I think it was Victoria, where police officer was wrestling this chick to the ground because she wasn't wearing a mask. Had his hand on her throat, pinning her to the ground because she refused to wear a mask. And her boyfriend's sitting there filming the whole thing, like, "What the hell, dude? What are you doing? I bet you feel tough. I bet that dude. He's an older guy, probably just doing his job, just doing my job. You've heard that, but." I just imagined in my little imaginative mind this guy being presented with this video by his grandchildren, and just and then just like, what does he think? What does he feel in hindsight at that point? Because hindsight's always 20/20, of course. But we're talking, years from now. Grandkid brings it up and shows him, "Hey, Grandpa, is this you holding down this lady for not wearing a mask back in 2020?" How do you sleep at night and live with yourself knowing that that's the bullshit that you're willing to put somebody on the ground for? I mean, again, you've heard me say it time and time again, and I need people to get this through their minds. The state will escalate until you comply or die. That's it. I mean, that is it. Luckily, we're at a point right now where they're just strongly recommending it. But it's starting to get to some places where people are getting fined and getting arrested,
Well, and it was funny because that individual said, "Look, you're a big guy. We don't want any problems." And I'm thinking, you're not getting any problems for me. I just want to bank. I want to get my money and leave.
I'll be gone in just a minute.
That's it. I mean, it became a situation because they made it. I'm sorry. We completely derailed this whole thing.
Yeah, short story, my ass. That's one of Anthony's short stories. All right.
Anyway.